All right, guys, how are we doing today? So I wanted to give you guys a quick rundown on how to use the Geogebra app, which is what we're going to be doing to kind of study some of the things we'll be talking about in Chapter 7 and possibly beyond. So a couple things is just like the stuff that we would be doing in class, but obviously it's an online simulation. It allows you to do the same thing. It's going to allow you to make different shapes and also measure different things. So up on the top here in this top toolbar, this is where you're going to find everything that we're going to need. And then down here on the left is going to give you information about the things we're going to be drawing on this space. And you'll see here a grid-like system. So just kind of run through the tools. Obviously, this is the pointer tool. So you can, if you ever need to move things around or click on things, you always want to make sure that pointer tool is selected. This is the point tool. And you'll see here as you click on that, you can draw just basic points. You can put points on an object. You can do different things with points. And then you have lines, so the different types of lines. The next one is special types of lines. So for example, if you already have a line drawn, you can draw one that's perpendicular to it. You can draw parallel lines, perpendicular bisector, angle bisectors, which we talked about in Chapter 6, and so on and so on. Next one, you have polygons, which are shapes. So if you want to draw a shape, so for example, in Chapter 7, we're going to be looking at quadrilaterals. We're going to be using this Polygon tool to make different types of shapes. Then you get into the circles, which you might look at later on. Ellipses we probably won't get to. And then the next couple things is when you can get into actually measuring things. So this is a big one for us. We are going to be looking at the relationship within, like we did with triangles, within quadrilaterals in terms of angles. So the angle tool allows you to either draw an angle or measure an angle and do other things related to the angles, okay? Then you get some other things like here. These are transformations, reflections, and rotations and things where you can move points and all that good stuff. So, for example, in Chapter 7, we're going to be working with quadrilaterals. So let's say I wanted to make a quadrilateral. So I'm going to use the Polygon tool here. I'd click on Polygon. When I bring my cursor out into the space, if I want to make a shape, all I got to do is click on points. So let's say I want to click on, let's say here at -5, 4. I don't have to, after I click, I'm just going to move my mouse. I don't have to click and hold, but I can move it to, let's say, another spot right here at 5, 3. And then I can, again, I don't have to click. I just click once to plot the point, and I'll move it here to plot another point. And let's say I put it right here. And lastly, to close the shape, I have to go back and click on A. So notice when I clicked only 4 times to make the 4 points. I had to close it obviously by clicking on A, but I get myself a 4-sided shape. For Polygon, it will shade in so you guys can see the shape. You have your 4 points. Notice to label the lines or the segments of that shape A, B, C, and D. And as I did that, you should notice on the left side, it'll give you the points that I plotted. Okay, so if I ever ask for coordinates, it'll show there. You have the measurements here, so it'll tell you, for example, like the segment A, which is up here, it'll give you the length of A, which is 10.05, B, which is 5.83, C, which is 9.06, and D, which is 5.39. So again, it gives you the measurements of the length, so we will be using some of those things. The other thing we're going to be looking at within this, kind of like we do with triangles, is looking at the angles inside this. It's called interior angle. So the last thing I want to show you here, other than the side, is how do we actually measure an angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the angle tool and select angle. Okay. Now what this says here on the bottom that if we select 3 points or 2 lines, it'll measure the angle for us. So the best way to do this is to select 2 lines. So if I'm at angle A is between the lines A and D. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on D and I'm going to click on A. Sorry, and notice it'll give me the angle between D and A. It'll say I want to measure angle B. I would click on B and then click on, sorry, that's A, and then I click on segment B, and notice it'll give me the angle between them. So the easiest way to measure the angle, click on that angle tool, and then, like it says down here, select 3 points or 2 lines. I would do the 2 lines, okay? So again, we can draw different polygons and we can make the same sort of measurements we do in class. The good thing for you guys is you don't have to use a ruler and you don't have to use a protractor. This program will do it all for you. Okay, so a quick little tutorial here on how to use GeoGebra. Best way for you guys to do is play around with it. If you have any questions on how to use the tutorial, just let me know. All right, guys.